you ever seen that video where Mark Zuckerberg was he was in, like, I don't know if he was getting interviewed or something like that, and he was sweating. I don't know why, like, because I didn't watch the whole thing, but they were like, take your jacket off, and he kind of like was hesitant, and then he took it off, and then the girl was like, oh, you have something on the back of your thing, and he's like, yeah, it's our company message or something like that. And he's sweating. So they kind of made it point like this is him hiding something. But then inside of his jacket was like this picture of like a circle. It almost was like some type of symbolic shit. Like when you think of Illuminati shit,
yeah, that would be
you
part
would think
of that.
Yeah, let me show you the image.
Fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
What would you call it?
Be like Mark Zuckerberg's jacket image.
So he had this inside of his jacket, and he said there was a company message.
Can you make it bigger?
This, can you see that? Making the world open and connected. Facebook. I don't even look as bad as I remember I thought it was.
It looks more. The other one on the other side looks way more like not religious, but like cult.
But you see how sweaty he was? So when I seen the video, it made him look like he was hiding something, and then they show, oh, he's hiding something inside of his shit. But I do think like when we was watching that, like remember I told you to watch the Andrew Tate video with George?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how religion keeps people in check, because if you don't fear God, then you do whatever the fuck you want. And it's like, in these people who are not satisfied with money, then they look and they crave for something to satisfy them. And that's how you got shit like Epstein, remember? So when I think of that, I'm like, damn, that makes sense. Like, that's why I believe like there's motherfuckers still doing shit like that somewhere. There's motherfuckers who are hiding shit. There's motherfuckers who are doing a lot of evil shit. And like, even when it was the Sound of Freedom thing where they were talking about, it was crazy. Like, the girl was saying that how like children are being sold and basically raped and stuff. And the girl said that she's like, when she seen how bad it was, she was shocked, because she was like, it was even happening to babies. And she's like, and I'm talking about babies with the umbilical cord still attached.
What the hell?
And when she said that, I was like, how can you be so evil? Like that.
And how would you even get access to a baby? How did that even work?
And then you have to think, because there's people who sell their babies. There's people who create babies on purpose. And this is on purpose. But like in the cartel shit where there's girls who are getting pregnant on purpose to sell the baby to the cartel for whatever. And I don't know if it's to bargain them, sell them. I don't know what, but it happens. I don't know why I was always thinking like, if somebody has a baby, they're going to care for it. I don't know why. That's not true. Like, you just never think that people are so evil that will have a kid already. Like, they will plan it. Like, I'm going to get pregnant to give this child away to, and who, I don't give a fuck what they do with that baby. If they kill them, if they do whatever, I don't care. I just never thought of like people being that evil to children, to like babies.
And if you have somehow some way to keep a woman inside, and you don't let her outside at all, you can actually farm babies. Like remember, I forgot, this was Mr. Ballin, a video where they would kidnap people, and this was in like some Latin American country somewhere. And they would take them to the jungle, and they had like a shack, and they had a basement, and they would just chain people, and to come, and whenever they needed it, like they had a guy in a Jeep that would come and go every day, and he would come in, and whenever, because I guess he got an order for like a kidney or a heart or whatever, and he would come. And they would take one of the guys, because they just kept them handcuffed, a bunch of them, like 20 motherfuckers in the basement. And then it would come, cut whatever they needed out, no anesthetic, no nothing.
And just take it.
Put it in ice, then go chain him back up. And if he died, he died. If he didn't die, they just left him there. And then they go back. They would go out and they would take the container with the organ, whatever organ that they were selling that day. And they said they did this for years. And until everybody crewed up from the village or whatever, and they stormed it with machetes and pistols or whatever. And then the cops came and they figured out what they were doing, but they never caught the people that were doing it. So that's just one person. Then there's probably millions of people doing this shit
in the world.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like I seen where they said that supposedly they're gonna release the names of the people who went to Epstein's Island. I don't know why the fuck that shit hasn't been released years ago. Because for sure people on those lists are cool with this type of shit. So you would think for sure one of those motherfuckers is doing shit on his own. Is doing something. Somebody said after Epstein, they were like, "Oh, just come to my crib now." Somebody said, or I know where to go. I know a guy. I know where we go now. And it's crazy that much people were like, because it was over 100. I think it was around like 180 people, 190 people on that list.
That list means that you visited the island.
You visited the island. You were either one of the girls who was there, who was taken advantage of, or you were just a friend with him. You've been there, and that's why.
You think Bill Gates is like right now, like all sweaty, like Mark Zuckerberg?
Nah, because they got money. Like I feel like, but why is it motherfuckers? I guess I just answered my own question, because I always thought, why is motherfuckers who got so much money always doing evil shit? And then it just points towards like, oh, that going back to like when you don't fear God, do whatever the fuck you want. And that's crazy to have the mindset of not fearing God, because then you're like, I could do whatever I want. I'm gonna die anyways. There's no punishment. I could do whatever I want.
Because when they asked,
if you think like that,
when they asked Bill Gates, like, "Hey, you were good friends with Epstein," and he's like, "We had a few dinners a long time ago, and that was it." And they asked him about like any current relationship or something like that. I forgot how they asked him, but I remember his response was super. When you catch somebody, they don't know what to say. He was like, "Well, he's dead. Doesn't matter. He's dead." And I'm like, it just seems sketchy. And
especially because they said what? What did they say? He killed himself supposedly in jail?
Yeah. He hung himself.
And I'm like, but people were like, wasn't that like a conspiracy theory within itself? That people killed him? But that does, like, I believe that type of shit though. Because I think a lot of people don't believe that the government really out here planning shit like that. But even people who were in I don't know if it was the FBI, I believe who was in the FBI, straight up said that the FBI was dealing drugs. And he said it publicly. And he, I don't know, he said he had evidence, whatever. And then the police were like, whatever evidence you have, I suggest you bring it towards the FBI or some shit like that so we can investigate. And he's like, why the fuck would I do that? When motherfuckers cover shit up all the time.
Yeah, I know. It just, I don't know what. I think that world is not going in a good place, but I feel like there's always hope that it will eventually change. But it seems like whenever people are in power, when you get the wrong motherfuckers in power that are not meant to be leaders, that feel that leadership power, and they don't want to give it up, it corrupts them even further.
Well, it was interesting because even in that interview where he's like, remember when he asked George, you people work under you, right? And he's like, if somebody talked back to you or did something to you, what would you do? And he was like, I'll fire them. He's like, exactly. So imagine when you run the country and somebody's talking out of place and saying all this shit, and you have power to stop them.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it like that. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Everyone, it's always like, you never really put it into the perspective of like one man can actually disrupt so much shit that to the point where the country takes notice, like the leadership of the country take notice. And to the point where they start banning your name in certain schools in your home country.
I don't even know how you can do that.
Like,
that's like limiting freedom of speech.
How can you ban somebody's name? Like, you can't speak. It's just crazy to just tell somebody you can't speak. You can't say his name or you'll get in trouble.
That's
just-
removing freedom of speech.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who discuss whether or not people should be canceled, and they say that what's the point of freedom of speech, right? Because if someone else says something that you don't agree with, that's the whole point. If otherwise, then what's the point of debating anything? If you don't like what somebody says, automatically you get to remove them. Makes no sense. That's why debate. That's the whole thing of a debate in the beginning. To
you guys disagree, and you're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, and see if there's common ground or whatever. It's fine to disagree. I feel like if you have everyone has the right to say whatever the fuck they want, whether or not it's nice or not. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
stop being
because
a bitch.
I think they would deal with those consequences on their own. If you're a racist motherfucker and all you do is get online and talk shit and be racist, somebody's gonna see you in the real world and it's not gonna like that. So there's consequences in the real world. We don't need fucking TikTok to be deciding what the fuck can and cannot be said, because then that's limiting free speech. Like if somebody should be able to say whatever they want, even if it's racist, even if they're talking shit about Mexicans.
Yeah.
Even if it's because I can't speak for another race, so I'll speak for mine.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll speak for me, because I don't give a fuck what you say. And it's like the fact that people are using different terms like unalive. When I started seeing that shit on TikTok, I didn't understand it. I was like, why are people doing that? I was like, people are soft. And I realized that, it's not the people, it's TikTok. TikTok is limiting what you can and cannot say, making you use separate words for the original word. Like instead of saying kill, they say unalive. And at first I was like, what the hell? Shit don't even make sense.
So suicide too?
Yeah, they would say he unalived himself.
That's so dumb.
And I just was like, why can't you say certain things? And why are we getting banned for words? I understand if it's straight, like if you have a channel that's just pure hate,
murdering babies.
Now, if you're saying, hey, Thursday we rally up and we fucking riot here, then yeah, I understand that, because you're causing fucking...
You're promoting violence.
Yeah, promoting violence, and that's crime. If you're using your platform to do that type of shit, then yeah, I understand if they take it down. But like, because then it opens up the argument of why certain shit's allowed and certain shit's not.
But then they say like, let's say if you're speaking your mind on anything far as LGBTQ shit, if you speak your mind, it's that leads to also hate. That's what people say. And so I feel like having an opinion, I think it's the same thing as a Mexican. The people who are saying close the borders, right? Use the military, right? Get every person who's in this country illegally out, right?
Yeah.
Even though I don't agree with that, I'm not gonna be like,
you can't say
fuck
that.
this person, get him out of here. No, I don't give a fuck.
Ban them on everything, huh?
A lot of in the past, I was like that, because I always felt that it was that tribalism shit where I feel like when you attack Mexicans, you attack me, and it's an attack on me, and there's no justification for what you're saying. I used to be like that. This is a long time ago, 4 years ago or so, and now I'm crazy open-minded. Anybody could tell me anything, and I wouldn't think any less of that person, unless he's telling me like kill babies and shit, something crazy, absurd. But as far as shit that every time somebody tells me anything that they believe in, I always listen, right? Because my feelings don't get hurt. I don't give a fuck what they say, because at the end of the day, I feel like everyone has the right to believe in whatever the fuck they want, regardless.
Even if you think they're wrong.
Yeah, regardless.
Even if you think they're wrong.
Yeah, I don't care, and I wouldn't talk shit to them. It wouldn't piss me off, and I think that's the whole thing. If you can get to that level of open-mindedness where you're able to hear anybody out, regardless of, and not get mad. Don't get triggered, because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't trigger you to begin with. No matter what another motherfucker says, it shouldn't light a fire in your ass.
Yeah, because then you're giving them too much power. So it shouldn't even matter. But that's the online shit's always a weird thing that's constantly gonna change. Of like, when is it gonna be where they're like, well, it kind of is like if you have your own voice, they'll ban you and you won't be able to monetize yourself. And I mean, it is their platform though. So I understand where people are like, if you don't like it, go make your own platform, and then you get platforms like what was that one that takes
Trump?
on there now?
Rumble?
But Rumble, yeah, you get platforms like that who are saying they're more open minded and letting you speak whatever the fuck you want. Okay, but that's it right now. What is it going to be like in 40 years? 40 years, and I don't know. It's like Twitch, right? Twitch said we're allowing nudity. You know that?
Well, it seems like
They
that's
did that.
always been a thing.
They did, yeah, but they did like full nudity as long as it's artistic. They said so you can be like you can be naked basically as long as it fits under the category of artistic. And people are like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And they did it right. And then apparently there was a bunch of like girls who were just being naked and shit, damn near. And there was I think like I don't even know if dudes. I don't even know what was happening. But everybody was being naked, and then like a couple of days later, they were like, "Oh, we're taking this back. We didn't expect this to go like this." Yeah, basically, you're turning it into like a porn shit.
And you see it nowadays. People be getting banned for all kinds of shit on Twitch, and you look at their Asmongold is a huge streamer, and he always streams on Twitch. And he said a long time ago he's playing World of Warcraft, and some dude in the chat said the N-word, hard R, right? And he didn't acknowledge. He said he's seen it, but he didn't want to acknowledge it because he didn't want to give it power, like put eyes on it. So he didn't say anything about it. And like half hour later, Twitch banned him.
Banned him?
Banned him.
Why?
For 2 days. I think he said 2-day ban. He said for not, he should have. It said like he should have acknowledged it and made it clear that he don't support it and this and that he should have done that, something like that along those lines. So because this motherfucker's so big though, he got people on Twitch. He emailed them, told them, hey, like this is unfair, right? He wrote like a big ass, like I don't know, 4-page essay to say like why this is why I feel that I shouldn't get banned, right? And then he said, and then he went on Twitch and YouTube and made a video about it. And then he said after he made a video of it, he said it went viral. The video went viral, and it got like I don't know a few million I think in a few hours or something like that. He got like 1 million in a few hours. And he said 2 hours later, unbanned. And he said, but think about this. If I don't have the eyes like I do.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You sit there for 2 days for something that you feel like it's unfair. And it's when you, like I understand people say, oh, go make your own shit, right? You don't like being on here. You don't like the rules and whatever. But it's unfair when, like, let's say Twitter is such a big platform for people to speak on, right? A lot of eyeballs. And for them to just say, like they did to Alex Jones,
you're not talking no more.
You're not talking no more. You don't have the reach anymore. And it's almost, it's like when do you say these platforms are now part of like the human rights type shit? Like when do you say like you're, because
I think, you know how they were like when COVID was going around and they would put like a banner or a little thing on the bottom that say, oh, learn about whatever. I think they should do that when there's people who are saying wild shit. You know, let's just say like a banner that says whatever, look into it more. This video is based on opinion, not all fact, or something along the lines to where they're like, learn more here. And as long as you do that, you fuck it, let it roll.
Yeah, I feel like you should be able to say anything because who gives a fuck?
Yeah, because I think like even the girls who were streaming on Twitch, whatever, who were exposing themselves on purpose, they would get like a 2-day ban, and then they would get 2 days off, and then when they would come back, they would be bigger than ever because they just literally showed everything.
Yeah.
And people are like, how is that fair when other people get banned for shit like doesn't even make sense? Maybe like strong language or certain words, and they'd be gone for a week or something, and then this girl fully exposes herself and gets freaking 2 days, and they're monetizing the fuck out of it too.
I know.
And they're making money off of everybody. Do you think they will ever make that shit illegal? I don't think so.
Well, supposedly Twitch numbers are going down, and like who you know who Kai is?
Yeah.
And why they ban him for? They banned him for life, didn't they, or some shit like that?
I don't know. I don't know if they banned him or why they banned him. I knew that he had a gathering.
Oh, that's what it was. He had a
Yeah.
gathering in New York, and people started going crazy, breaking shit.
Yeah, and he was like, "That's not my intention.
Yeah.
That wasn't my intention." But people are like, if you say that, you kind of gotta expect that. So you have to be more responsible with.
I feel like he just didn't really realize how crazy shit could have gone. I think he just wanted I think his intentions were pure. I think he just didn't really think it through. But I mean, it's hard to really think it through because you think all these people are out here just to like to meet them and like to have a good time and like within the legal law limit. And I think he underestimated his following, and like some people just like fucking shit up. I think they broke some shit and it was crazy, and they claimed he was responsible, and I think they did ban him for that. But he I guess he was like the most subscribed motherfucker on Twitch.
Oh, I don't know.
Like of all time.
They be making a fuck ton of money. They got more money than rappers. They got more money than like a lot of people. They're multi-million-dollar deals. And it's like, it's crazy. Like streaming is big and it's a big deal. But when I think about this internet platform, the fact that they can just silence you, everybody at any time can just say, you know what, fuck this guy.
For them, for who owns Instagram? Facebook
now.
And Twitter is Eli now, and
it's Elon, yeah.
Yeah, Elon. And YouTube.
I don't know who's YouTube.
Google,
yeah.
Oh, but
think so.
So what other platforms are big? Other like the known ones. Twitch. Who owns Twitch? It's just Twitch?
I don't know.
Because it's crazy for them to all just ban, like, for Andrew Tate, just to, all of them in sync, same day. Boom. It's crazy that the government had say on Twitter. The government would tell Twitter, hey, you allow this, you can't allow this, and these motherfuckers just said, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now that
you ruin, it's like it's interesting what he was saying when the blowback comes, because it's like if you're cool with somebody and they do something that that puts them in a bad light, a lot of people with so-called friends try to distance themselves while they're going through that. Hey, we can't hang out right now because you're hot right now. We can't hang out. So we can still be friends, but let this shit die down. And I'm like, that's kind of like playing the game. And I understand it because it's like, but that's what I'm saying, that they can control our behavior in a way. Not our debate, because I don't give a fuck. I'll hang out with whoever. Even if he does something that, unless it's something that's clearly like, I'm against, but if he did something, I don't know, he spoke his mind, he said his opinion, and his opinion was blunt and sharp, and people were like, I don't like that. I would be like, I don't give a fuck, he's my friend. But just because he says something, that doesn't mean that I agree with that shit. Yeah. He's just my friend. That's it. It is what it is. He's still gonna be my friend.
But he's not even convicted though. Nothing's been for sure.
And why can't you say whatever the fuck you want to say?
I know.
And then I think because there's so many people who, okay, and then they do that, there's the control. They see they have that control, and that's why they put you down. They put you off. Because people have relationships, and if they see you be cool with him after that opinion has been said, then it will limit you from being able to access certain shit or certain opportunities. Because everybody else is in the same system.
People are scared to be in that position, to say, oh shit, if it's gonna affect me financially, like instead of doing the right thing, I'm gonna do what's safe for me.
Yeah.
The selfish shit, I that's never been me. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the money. I don't give two fucks. Because I never been scared of shit. What are they gonna do to me? Take all my money. Like worst case scenario, I'm doing a 9-to-5 till I die. And I'm like, okay, so what? Am I scared of that? Work at McDonald's all day till I die? Am I scared of that? Fuck no, I ain't scared of that. What are they gonna do to me? Unless they start saying, oh, we're gonna rape you.
Oh shit.
Now I'm like, oh shit, maybe I don't do that then.
I don't know, but they got a lot of control out here. And I just think like, do you think do you think that would ever stop though? I don't think so. I feel like something, you know how gambling as far as like microtransactions in certain countries were banned because they were saying that they were promoting like gambling to children.
Yeah, kids.
So they're like, you can't do that, you know, or It's crazy how in certain countries, certain shit is banned. I think like Red 40 is banned in certain countries, yet in America is legal. And there's certain chemicals or ingredients that are in foods that have been
linked to cancer.
Yeah, and shit like that. In other countries where they're like, you can't use that shit. And in the US are like gold mode. And it's crazy as a company to know, like if I sell this product, but it's all money. But if I sell this product and I sell it to Canada, I sell it to the US, and I sell it to Mexico. And in Mexico, I found out that it's doing all this damage or whatever. So in Mexico tells me, you can't use this shit unless you change the ingredients or whatever.
Or we won't sell your shit.
We're not selling your shit no more. So I'm like, okay, I'll change it. And then I change it and I only give that new device to them. And I'm like, and I continue selling this shit even though I'm aware that what's in it is doing damage just because it's legally allowed. That's wild.
It's probably legally allowed and the profit margins are a lot bigger.
And that's why it's all about money.
Yeah.
But when you think about like if you own, that's why people don't give a fuck about people, because if you own something that like if you own food, if you're the person who owns food, I don't know how that shit works, but I know there's like 3 companies or some shit at the very, very top or some shit, or a limited amount of companies. If you're one of those, and just to be okay to give this shit, if you know that this shit could lead to cancer, and just because of profit, you're like, ship it. That's wild. Like I don't know. That's wild.
I think it's because
that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And for you just to be like, fuck it, you would think you'd be like, man, this is scary. Because it's like, yeah, I'm in charge. I'm one of the, because I know it's not just one, but I know it's like a company. They're like, we're in charge. And we can be doing all this damage out here. But that just shows you that humans, especially wealthy ones, seem to not give a fuck about the rest.
People say that after so much money, you start, like, especially when you're born to money, you start feeling that people are not, they're not, like, you're above them. Like, it's almost like if you're a different race. And humans are like cockroaches, and people with money are the people that matter. And so I don't know. I think it's greed. I think it's, I don't even know what the fuck it'd be.
But it's crazy because we're the majority. If the majority, which we are, stood up, they can't fuck with us. If everyone was like, you know what, fuck it, war on the world, it would be crazy. It would stop a lot of shit. That's why even when you see people protesting, even if it's like at their job for a bigger raise, a lot of times they get it.
Yeah, because they unite.
Yeah, and you see the power, and they're losing money when they're like, we're not going to work today. If everybody in America said we're not working for one day, you know how fucked that shit would get?
That shit would be crazy.
They'd be like, come back. Please come back.
One day.
America would be telling people, what's up, yo, duh? Just go back to work.
Imagine they would make it. It would be a thing. Like if somehow America was united like that, they can change anything. They can change president. They can change the president. You know how there's laws and terms and the fucking the people in Congress had to make decisions and vote on it and all this shit. If America came together and just said, fuck it, we're not working until every single fucking congressperson there's term limits now, and we want it done in a week, or none of us is going to work.
She would get done in a week. She would get done before that.
Yeah.
People would be like, what?
And we're replacing the president, huh? And we want to be on good terms with Canada and Mexico. Some crazy shit, huh? Imagine Mexico, the US, and Canada, all the population were in sync. We want to be one country, and we're not working until that's done. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but the reality is there's so much people, you can't get them to agree.
But
that's why a lot of times we're fighting with each other. People are fighting like, when it comes to politics, when it comes to a bunch of shit, when we have no control over that shit, these motherfuckers are running that shit. Riding hard and shit. Like, get into fights with motherfuckers and possibly kill one another over dumb shit like that. When in reality, you have no control over that shit. Then they don't give a fuck about you. That's the reality. They don't give a fuck about you.
I know. They just say whatever needs to be said in order to get into power.
Like, especially when I see these stories, you would think the military would be respected. And I'm talking about when they're no longer in the military. They played their role in the military and now they're out. You would think they would be respected and they're not. They don't give a fuck. And it seems like, what more can you do for this country when you put your life on the line for it? And yet they're like, we don't give a fuck. Like, that's why you see a lot of homeless veterans, a lot of veterans with PTSD or a lot of other shit and no help. And they're like, well, fuck you. We got a new boy.
Thanks for your service.
You got PTSD, go home. You give me your son now. Huh?
I don't know.
And then it's crazy how the president is just like, that motherfucker, kill him. And then he goes to his fucking desk. He turn on your helmet cams, huh? Turn on this, and he just watches from a room, probably drinking coffee, chilling. And you're over there, your life's on the line and shit.
There's an interviewer that was asking Donald Trump about, he's like, do you respect Putin? And Trump said, yeah, I respect Putin. And he's like, he said, I hate people who do this. I hate these motherfuckers. He's like, so you respect killers and terrorists. And he's like, he said, you asked me if I respect Putin. I do respect Putin. He said he leads a country, right? He leads a country, and he's like, yeah, but he also is a communist leader, dictator, this and the other. He's like, we've done horrible things ourselves. He said, look at our history. America doesn't have their hands clean, and he's like, and the dude didn't say nothing, and he's like, look at what we did to Iraq. When we went and so he said, so before we start judging people, we got to look at ourselves too. We're not squeaky clean.
I mean, that's crazy because nobody would admit that. Nobody wants to talk about America in a bad light. And I always said, America's bullies. And I'm an American. I'm glad to be an American too. But America's bullies. And we love them for that. It seems like that's America. Huh? America is that motherfucking tough ass motherfucker with guns, ready to go to war about anything and anything. And just to show you how big our deals are and how powerful we are because of the money and everything. And America will rather it the whole world end than to lose. That's like a crazy ass gangster, huh? Telling everybody what to do, being everybody's daddies because they're like, oh, this country needs help. Let's help them.
People are saying that we shouldn't do that no more. We shouldn't help other countries when we should. How much focus do you think we should put on the whole?
I don't know. I think that's such a hard question. I think it's such a hard question to say, oh yeah, we shouldn't, when there's people out here dying. And if we can save people, why wouldn't we? And I feel like if we have the power to save and we don't, it's kind of wrong. But I can see it too. Like if we use that money on ourselves, we wouldn't see homeless people here, right? Or certain things here. Well, a lot of people would be living good here. But okay, let's say we did that. We're all living good while half of the other country is in fucking shit. Who gives a fuck? That's wrong. If America becomes this holy place, this fucking, not even holy, that's the wrong word, like this perfect place, and people are like, it's so amazing. People start calling it heaven on earth. And you happen to be in there, and the rest of the world is in shit. For you to just be like, well, that's their luck. It's not right. I don't think that's arguable.
You think like it'd be similar to the rich and the poor? You know, they say rich people have obligation to help the poor as far as like donations or whatever, however they want to do it. But there's always seemed like the people who have an abundance of anything should always help people who don't have nothing. It seems like that seems like the ideal thing to do. How much aid do we actually, because it seems like every time the US is giving aid to someone, it always seems like there's strings attached. Seems like that's how it is.
Yeah, these motherfuckers are playing chess.
They're always looking at it to like it's for
our benefit.
Yeah, it's in their benefit. It's for a role. It's some type of hidden agenda.
But it's crazy because America lies to their own people. We're doing it because of this, and it's not. It's their own hidden agenda. And it's like, this is our government.
I think a lot of governments do that though.
But it just goes back to it's wrong. That's why I said, like, because you know how people say we should focus on it. And I think, like I told you, if this was this heaven, if America was heaven on earth, like, and we just like, and we locked up our borders, like everybody's saying, put the borders up, and everything here is perfect, right? Damn near as perfect as you could get on earth. And the rest of the world is people are dying, whatever. And like to turn our heads away from that, that would be hella wrong. And how do you argue that's not wrong? When we have, and we would get to the point where we're still, everybody's fat as fuck.
I know there's an abundance, but I feel like all that can get fixed. I wonder which country has the least like fatness. What country?
I don't know.
Has the least fatness in their. It's probably like.
It got to be one of these countries who are starving. So.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to look at. That's not what I guess it would there'd be a correlation with poorness there would be. I was thinking like maybe first world country though. Cuz
I don't know. But like when I look at it how you're forced to basically idolize Kim Jong-un.
I know.
Everybody's like, yeah. And they're crying for him and shit like that. But they're not doing that because they actually care about him. They're doing it because it's mandatory.
Yeah, and if you don't cry, if you don't clap hard enough, if you don't cry hard enough, then there's consequences to that.
And I'm like, that's the type of shit that's wild. And it seems like that shouldn't be allowed.
It's crazy.
Nobody in the world should have a power over so much people to say, oh, I eat and you don't.
And you cry for me when I tell you to.
And he claims to be what? I don't know.
A god.
Yeah, huh? Because he says he don't shit and he don't.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And
that motherfucker has. How is that not like a fucking. What do they call it? When it's something so inhumane?
Tragedy?
No, like a crime. It's a level of crime. It's not a war crime, but it's like. Is it a war crime? Should it be a war crime? Because how is it that some part we're just like. It's just being allowed, but. It's because it would result in so much death.
Yeah. No, it's because I think the thing that they fucked up in is they allowed them to have nukes. To somehow get access to them or make them or build them or whatever he did to get them. They allowed that. Before they should have fucked them up from the jump. But then it's like, I don't think death, it seems like every time the U.S. comes in and starts killing people, because
it never fixes anything.
Yeah, it never fixes.
What place have the U.S. invaded where it's perfect now?
No.
That it worked. Everything worked out smooth.
Only the U.S. The England motherfuckers that came to the U.S. And I mean, it took a lot of killing. It took a lot of killing of the native people and a lot of territory grabbing and all that shit. And then for the U.S. now, it's like, it's nice here. But like where any place that after that, like I can't think of one that they came in and they fucked up and then now it's good.
That fool be trying to live like a king, having girls come in and he just pick whoever he wants, eats whatever he wants. I remember that girl who escaped North Korea said that fatness is attractive, apparently. Everybody, because they're like, everybody's skinny. So the fat guy is like, I don't know, it's just I don't know how, but it's attractive to them.
It's because it's a show of wealth. It means
it's a show of something.
It means he eating good. He eating good in the neighborhood and they want some.
Damn.
It's because they don't probably. She was saying they get the only fucking grasshoppers and shit. Huh?
Yeah.
Like it's rare. You can't trade there. Like how is that so crazy? It's illegal to trade. So if you go fishing, and I have whatever, and I can't trade you that
fish for a bag of chill and a graphics card. You can't do that.
You can't trade to anybody. It's illegal. It's crazy that people come in and inspect your home to make sure that at least the portrait of the Kim Jong-un portrait
that's like
squeaky clean.
That's like cult shit.
Yeah. It's
and there's no guns. There's nothing you can do to defend yourself. And there's concentration camps and shit like that. And you would think that shit's over with.
And if you defect and try to leave the country, they execute your whole family down to the dog, everyone.
And that's what I'm saying. That shit exists and it's just allowed.
It's because they see it as like, how do they play it? The only way to play it is death. By the time that I think the only way you do it is you bomb them, like nuke them, but then it's like you kill millions of innocent people.
And that's what you're trying to save them from.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. I don't know, but so much evil in this world if you really look into it. And it's never, seems like there's always more. It seems like there's always more. That's why for all these people, though, for all these evildoers, though, Jesus is coming. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.